Hey guys, it's Joshua Johnson here with the Popcorn Talk Network. I am here talking amateur night with Janet Montgomery, Ashley Tisdale, Bria Murphy, who played Nikki, Fallon, and Jaxie from the film. How are you ladies this morning? Good, good. I want to ask you straight off the bat, was this the first time for each of you playing strippers in a film?
For me, yes.
It was my second time.
It was
But this
your
is
second
my
time?
first in a movie. I did a show called The League where I played a stripper, which is like a comedy improv show on FX. So I did an episode of that where I was a stripper.
Okay.
But this was my first time in a movie. And it was a very different part.
Okay, so did your dance background inform any of your stripper moves at all?
It did, although when we were rehearsing, I ended up like really going for it and doing the splits and stuff, and then I tore my hamstring and my popliteus. So I was like, "Oh no, guys, I'm fine. You gave me a ride home." And then the next morning when I woke up, I had like a blood blister all the way down my leg. It was awful.
That sounds serious.
And I've never danced again.
Ashley, how did your research go for this film? Did you get like down and dirty? Did you hit the valley or something? And
Yeah, that is totally what I did. No, I mean, I actually shot a movie in Atlanta like a couple years prior and had my first experience at strip clubs in Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta's known for strip clubs, right?
Yes.
What's the big one down there? Is it Magic City?
As if you don't know. It's the big one.
It wasn't
I've never been.
But I love, like, it was so funny because everybody I went with, like, my reaction to walking into this thing, I was like, oh my god, everyone's naked. They're like, yes.
Well, that's the point.
That's the point. So I've had an experience there, but with this character, I just felt, I felt like something similar to it was like, a Kesha, like how I visualized her. And so I would just kind of like listen to that and rock music and kind of just like, wanted to kind of just like be Fallon and hopefully do it authentically.
Yeah, we did a good job at it.
Thanks.
I mean, that's a compliment.
Thank you so much.
And then Bria, did your father is of course Eddie Murphy, the famous comedian, one of the greatest of all time. But I wanted to ask you, did you get any advice from him as far as your comedic lines or any kind of advice?
I did not even tell my dad about what this movie was about when I first booked it. I just told him that I was doing a movie. Yeah. And I was just apprehensive about him even seeing it. Like, you know what I looked up? And I hate to admit this, but I looked up Taz Angels. Have you heard of Taz Angels?
What is Taz Angels? No, I haven't heard
They
of
are these girls on Instagram. They're not strippers.
Okay.
They're not strippers.
Oh,
They're rumored to be prostitutes. If they see this, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to offend you. But they're rumored to be prostitutes.
No
but I looked them up, and their energy and the way they perform in the club, they're always like up on the bar twerking and stuff. And I was like, I need that kind of vibe for this character because she's really fun and energetic and all of that. So I was like, I'm gonna be a Taz Angel.
Nice. Now, I hear the shoot went really quick, roughly 17 days. And I read that somewhere along the lines in the rush, you guys got stuck in an elevator for like an hour?
Oh,
yes.
Oh my God.
I missed it though, actually.
You were lucky when
I
it
was
didn't-
out of the elevator.
We were shooting at the Avalon, is it? That hotel?
Yeah, right, okay. Yeah.
And there was like, I would say there's probably like 15 of us in the elevator.
A small elevator.
A small elevator, and it got stuck. And I mean, I was wearing my costume underneath, which wasn't very much, with a robe on.
I remember that costume.
And it was funny at first, and we're like, let's take a selfie, we're trapped in the elevator, and then it was like, it is hot in here. I'm like, I'm gonna take this robe off, I want to sit on the floor. Yes. Yeah, it was like
All I remember is seeing like
just
like a fire truck coming by. So I'm like, when are we starting the scene? And then I see like this fire truck and like everybody's on the walkie-talkies, like they're stuck in the elevator. I'm like, what? They're stuck in the elevator. Wow. It was crazy.
Bria, were you stuck as well?
Yes, I was. It was way too long, and it's just getting hotter and hotter in there. I was like, oh my god.
It was tiny elevator too.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was funny until it wasn't funny, and then it was like, I don't know if it was an hour. It felt like an hour.
Yeah, it wasn't an hour.
But it was probably like 7 minutes.
Really?
No, for them to call the fire brigade and the fire brigade to arrive, it was definitely longer than that.
Yeah.
But
it was like 25, 30 minutes, but it wasn't
long
an hour.
enough.
It was too long
to
be stuck in an elevator when you have no...
Oh my gosh, would you rather spend 25 minutes in an elevator or 25 minutes watching the Republican National Convention? Which one?
I mean, that's very funny, the Republican National Convention, so
I'll take the elevator, personally, thanks.
Well, look, did your opinion about sex workers or strippers change in any way after doing this role?
I personally, mine did. I just have more respect for you know, just, I guess I feel like you have to have a tough skin to be in that field, and I have more respect for, I just feel like it's an emotional thing, and I feel like these women are going through a lot, and I feel like they're really strong women at the end of the day to be putting themselves in this position. Yes, it sucks that they have to do this, but I just take my hat off to anybody that's in this field, because I felt weird every time we danced, and these guys that were around us were super respectful, so I can't imagine actually living this personally.
I mean, I don't think my opinion changed. I have a lot of respect for anyone who's hustling and making money and doing what they can to survive in this world, you know? So yeah. I think there's plenty of like well-educated women who become strippers, or women who are putting themselves through college or university. Is it better that they're stripping rather than like stealing? Then yeah, they're working hard, and they work really hard.
It's an honest living, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of judgment that they get, but you guys are certainly judged as well, I would imagine. Physically, you're beautiful, but you're much more than that, right? Because you not only have thrived in acting, but also dance. For you, actually, fashion and music. Bria, for you, modeling. Do you ever feel, have you ever been in a situation where you were kind of judged or written off as just a pretty face, but had so much more to offer, and especially in this business?
Yeah, but I don't think it, I mean, to be honest, if that is the case, and it does happen to everyone, especially when you're the actress, I don't think it matters. I feel like you let your, you know, the way we speak, who you are, your credentials speak for yourself, you know? Mm-hmm. You don't need to kind of be mad at people who have a preconceived judgment of how smart you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like that happens more in social situations for me, when people just write me off. People think like I'm just some groupie. I've had like celebrities send their people over like, oh yeah, come see him and meet him. I'm like, I'm not just some girl sitting in the club, but I can't just say that, they don't know.
Right, right.
It was like America Ferrara, is that how you say her name? She was on Bill Meyer the other day. I can't pronounce anyone's name. But she said, I think one of the Republicans said, oh, you know, you're a Hollywood. And she was like, no, I'm not here as a celebrity. Like, I have just as much to lose in this election as anybody else. Mm-hmm. And I think people get annoyed when, like, celebrities have opinions about politics or something like that. But it's like, we're not just actresses.
Yeah.
That's just our job.
Right. Ashley, was any Illuminate brand makeup used in this film?
No.
No?
No, but it was really funny because I actually had just signed on to do my makeup line at this same exact time of filming this movie. So that's how long this movie took to come out, and that's how long it took to develop Illuminate by Ashley. It took 2 years. So, but we had a lot of fun, especially with our makeup artist on the set. She was just like, for Fallon, I was just like, the fact that I was so into like the smoky eye, and she had done music videos prior, so she totally got beauty. It was great, and then probably by the 14th day, I was like, I'm so tired of the smoky eye. I'm like, you know, the greasy hair. But I think that that's always so much fun when you're like playing a character. You just like get really involved in it, and you just don't really like, kind of like for Fallon, you just don't give a shit.
Right, right. Well, one last question for you, Ashley. I have to ask. It was the, I think you might know what I'm going to talk about. There was a scene that was a little moist.
Oh, yes.
A little moisture in the air.
That's my T-shirt, moist.
How did that go down?
You want to hear how it like actually went down?
Let's
okay, so let's just, I keep saying this, but it's really true, and it's like funny, but I signed on to the movie after I auditioned and booked it, and I think because my agents were so into the nudity clause, I had skimmed over my, like, what the character, like, you know, I was reading the character's lines, and I didn't look in, you know, I learned my lesson. I didn't look to see that that's actually Fallon. Right. I thought it was Bria's character. So when we were in rehearsal, I'm signed on, we are doing this movie.
Contract's already written?
Contract's written, and I was like, oh my god, Bria, you know, you got that squirting scene. And she was like, haha, me? She's like, that's you. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, that's you. And I was like, no way. I honestly did not believe her for like 10 minutes until Joey was like, yes, that's you. And I was just like, so how are you planning on doing that? Like, I got really serious. And so, yeah, it definitely was interesting. It was funny. And really, it was just like my legs were open and just having a lot of guys looking into my crotch area. But I had like shorts on and I had like little boots on. Yeah. And then there was like a pipe like kind of going through that just would hit Jason in the face. So,
oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. Well, let that be a lesson to you guys. Read the fine print, or you might end up squirting someone.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, make sure you guys check out Amateur Night. It's coming out in New York and LA August the 5th, and then 1 week later, August the 12th, it's coming out on digital video on demand. Thank you, ladies, for joining me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.